Hiya guys, back to our YouTube channel. Jioni ya leo, kumbuka siku ya leo sijaweza kuzungumza chochote, sijakwambia anything. Nimekuwa nikifuatilia tu mambo yanaenda aje, mambo yanafanyikia saidi, mambo yanachemukia saidi gani, ili ni make sure at the end of the day niwe nimekutafutia na nimekuambia ili uweze kujua ni nini inajaribu kufanyika nchini Kenya ambayo ni nchi yako. So nikaomba wakati ambapo naenda kukuonyesha hawa vijana ambao wameweza kuwa arrested na wanaenda kutaja ni kina nani waliwatuma kushambulia Rigathi Gachagua upande wa PCA Church Kariobangi, na pia upande wa Embu mambo pia yamechemuka. Kuna wapiga kura wawili wameingia mahakamani ili kupinga victory ya huyu wa Mutende. Unajua inakuanga tu mchezo hivyo, then mambo inachemuka. So kabla tufike pale, tuangalie the whole story, ensure umelike ili fikie watu wengi. Na baadhi yenu nilikuwa nimesahau, mmekuwa mkicomplain kwa nini natumia earphone recording. Unajua nimekuwa na ile microphone ya wireless but nilikuja nikaibiwa, so najaribu kuchanga kidogo. Na pia one of us ali request ni display my number ili waweze kujaribu kuchip the little ili tununue a professional microphone, na wakati ambapo tutakuwa tuna communicate unanipata vizuri tena zaidi. So pia kama uko interested, hiyo ndio namba hapo chini, unaweza nitumia anything ambayo uko nayo. Mungu ataweza kukujalia na atakufungulia pia malango zaidi. Kwa hivyo guys, without wasting time, nataka tuanzishe na ile story ya Kariobangi. Rigathi Gachagua on Sunday alikuwa pale, and Rigathi Gachagua aliatakiwa na Goons. You see, hii serikali ya William Ruto wameanza kutumia Wajaluo vibaya. Juu ukiangalia haya majina wengi wao ni Wajaluo. You're going to be shocked, unajua. Acha nikusomee kwanza. Sikiza, Kariobangi North PCA Church disturbances, 7 suspects arrested. The National Police Services confirms the arrest of 7 suspects linked to the Kariobangi North PCA Church disturbances on Sunday, 30th November. The 7 all arrested within the Lucky Summer area are being processed for the appearance before a court of law. Further arrests are expected upon the completion of investigations, including photographic and acoustic analysis reports. The 7 suspects are Charles Otieno Opio, Wilson Okoth alias MC Otieno, Michael Mutunga Kavulunze, Brian Omondi Odhiambo Elias Brio, Regio Pio Otuole, Elisha Otieno Cheng, Gadon Odhiambo Onyango. Most of them ni Wajaluo ndio wameweza kuonekana wakitekeleza uhalifu kama huo. Juu haya majina Otieno, Onyango, Otieno, Onyango, Omolo. Unaona, hawa ni Wajaluo. Wajaluo mwache kutumiwa vibaya. Raila Odinga ameaga dunia, mumeanza kutumiwa vibaya sana na hii serikali ya William Ruto. Na unajua wakati ambapo wanafanyiwa hivi, wanapewa 2000 Kenyan shillings ama 1000 ama 500, wanaenda kutekeleza uhalifu licha kwamba polisi wanawapatia security. But baadaye wakati ambapo wanakuwa arrested, wana face court peke yao, na wale wanasiasa ambao waliwatuma hawawezi wafuatilia na kumake sure wanachomoka pale, then wana face charges peke yao. Nyinyi vijana ambao mnajaribu kutumiwa vibaya na hawa wanasiasa, mko taabani. Saizi hawa wataenda kujibu mashtaka, then unakuja kuona ya kwamba wengine wanapigwa fine na wana hata do za kulipa pale, na wale ambao walijaribu kuwatumia vibaya wamejaribu kuhepa. So the only thing mnaweza fanya ni kumake sure mnatambua hawa viongozi ambao walijaribu kuwatumia vibaya, ndiposa mkaweze kufaulu kuchomoka pale. Na pia licha kwamba mnaweza chomoka, but Mungu pia ataendelea kuwafuatilia zaidi. Juu mtendaje attacking the church? Unaona, hiyo ni laana. Second story of the day, upande wa Mbeere North constituency, victory ya huyu wa Mutende imeanza kuleta wasiwasi. Kuna baadhi ya wapiga kura wamekimbia kotini. Acha tusikize.
Where 2 voters in Mbeere North constituency, Embu County, have petitioned the Embu High Court to overturn the election of Leonard Wamuthende as area member of parliament. The petitioners allege that prior to the by-elections on Thursday, November 27, 2025, Wamuthende had changed his identity to Leo Wamuthende Njeru from Leonard Muriuki Njeru, but the change was not captured in the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission's register.
Days after Leonard Wamuthende was sworn in as the duly elected Mbeere North Member of Parliament, 2 Mbeere North voters have moved to court to challenge the validity of the by-election. The duo, Julieta Karigi Githumbu and Patrick Itonga Gishini, alleged the newly elected United Democratic Alliance Member of Parliament misrepresented his legal identity by changing his name from Leonard Muriuki Njeru to Leo Wamuthende Njeru before party nominations. Meanwhile, in Magarini constituency, Kilifi County, Democracy for Citizens Party Stanley Kenga, who lost to Harrison Kombe of Orange Democratic Movement in the by-elections, says he's strategizing for the next general election in 2027.
So mambo yamechemuka. Whether court inaweza wasikiza ama hapana. So inalingana pia venye serikali inacheza. Serikali huwa inatumia do. Ikiona vitu kaa hivyo, inapiga court do, then wanatupilia mbali ushit kama huo. You see guys. So now, last resort of the day. Now, Nelson Havi anatuambia kwamba now that William Ruto ameanza kuwa karibu na machiefs, anataka kutumia chiefs kuiba kura. Na hiyo ni ukweli. Chiefs huwa wanatumika kuiba kura.
So, Wakili, you look at the era that you speak of where chiefs were dreaded, right?
Yes.
And then the Constitution 2010 comes in place that says pretty much just do away with this, but there's that lacuna that does exist. Now, when you look at the president calling in chiefs, 3,000 vehicles will be accorded to them. There will be accorded police officers that you'll be working together with and all that. Should Kenyans be afraid? Are you seeing Kenyans heading back to the point that you're referring to where chiefs were dreaded? And one would ask the question, 2010, 2025, why now?
There is credible merit in the fear that this regime, just like the Ugandan regime, the Tanzanian regime, is determined to force its continued stay on the people of Kenya come 2027. And it's not novel. In 2017, it is the chiefs that were used at the basic level to pursue what was then seen by us affiliated to Raila Amolo Odinga as theft of the election.
Okay.
It's done at the local level, because at the local level they know everybody. They know your political affiliations. They know who will be the agents picked by who and who. They will know the opinion polls. So what better way to influence the outcome of an election than to use those at the basic level, at the ward? And I think that fear is genuine. And what should Kenyans do? Kenyans should just do what we always do. We have structurally the best judiciary. We may have some rotten elements within the judiciary who are always being protected by Martha Koome. But I can tell you without any fear of contradiction, there is no arm of government in the name of the judiciary better than what we have in Kenya. Let them go to court and challenge this formation. It ought to be challenged. It's high time that those in office realize that they serve at the mercy of the people. The people are also the sovereign.
Okay.
Yeah, you cannot plan to rig an election in the manner in which it is perceived it's being done.
So are Kenyans therefore right to equate these to the 2027 politics? Correct me if I'm wrong. In the sense that if in 2027 we remember that chiefs were pretty much used, the chiefs are in the grassroots level. One would say they have the local intelligence and they would know who belongs where. Is this then a plan, or one would read this as a plan towards achieving the same as we approach 2027?
And the same matrix. It was used by Daniel Arap Moi. It wasn't used by Mwai Kibaki. Mwai Kibaki stole the election at Bomas. That's clear. It was used by Uhuru Kenyatta for his second election. And, history informs the current and the future. So those who are in the process of competing with Dr. William Samoei Ruto need to know that this is the problem that we're going to face.
What do they do now? Because there were 15,000 people who showed up at State House, chiefs and their assistants. They're in uniform, so they didn't just get into it the day before. So they exist, isn't it?
Yes, they do.
They're doing something right now. What is it that they're doing right now? Do we know? Or because it seems that role is being enhanced, they're being asked to do something else. What do they currently do, and are they fulfilling that position?
Yes, as we said at the beginning, the office of the chief, though not domiciled in an elaborate effectuating legislation, except for the Chiefs Act, which has had several torrents and challenges.
Yeah.
It's an important office.
Sure.
The problem is if that office is abused. And you see, from the threshold, the appearance, the attendance of chiefs in State House is not problematic. They represent the crown.
Yeah.
They function under the Ministry of Interior, and before they were directly under the office of the president.
Right.
But there is something wrong when the president says, I will enhance the capacity of your performance towards what end? You understand? I haven't heard that indicated that he may promote some of them upwards.
I could actually read his statement.
There's a number of things that he said he was going to do, so maybe we can look at that and then let us know.
So let's interrogate it.
So this is what he said. Chiefs and assistant chiefs are enablers of our country's development plan at the grassroots. We are therefore promoting all the trained chiefs and their assistants by a rank effective July 1st, 2026. To enhance accountability and efficiency at the community level, tablets will be issued to all chiefs. More than 3,000 new cards will also be made available to boost their mobility. Further, our more than 106,000 village elders across the country will be recognized and put on a monthly stipend of 3,000 shillings beginning July 1st, 2026. Share the progress of a bottom-up economic transformation agenda with more than 15,000 chiefs and assistant chiefs at State House, Nairobi. We will operationalize 24 new sub-counties, 88 divisions, 318 locations, and 675 sub-locations, and build 900 police stations to advance security in every part of Kenya.
Okay. A plain reading of that statement indicates there's nothing wrong. But it's only a fool who relies on a plain reading of any statement that comes from the executive. So far, the president has cushioned his statement in a very elaborate manner to indicate that there's nothing amiss. But there's something amiss. Why the mobilization at this particular point in time? Why not much earlier? And the thing that is amiss in my projection, I'm not a prophet, is exactly what I've told you. To mobilize from the ward level so that at the polling station, they're able to manipulate the electoral process. What we saw in Mbeere, what we saw in Malava in particular, is a precursor to what they may want to do. Because you see, ordinarily in a by-election, if the state is determined to influence that outcome, it can do it effortlessly because all the efforts will be deployed there. But in a general election, everybody is to him or herself. If you are vying at the ward, you will be by yourself. If you're vying in the constituency level, you'll be by yourself. So they will not be able to send Kindiki to Mbeere because Kindiki will be struggling to support the president in the event he'll be picked as running mate. They'll not be able to deploy these other characters to Malava. So the only effective way of ensuring that they have control is to start from the grassroots. And 2 years is sufficient time towards that preparation.
It's a worrying thing that would want to be planted as a seed of in our minds to imagine that this force of men and women then could essentially be used for purely government propaganda, number one, because he was very clear also about one of the things that he said, that these two, the chief and the assistant, would also be used to counter mis and disinformation about what government is doing, about projects, about development projects, about whatever the case may be. So essentially, they would write the perspective that could be wrong in the minds of Kenyans. Can you do that with a public office, which this is?
They do it. The question is whether you can do it. They do it. For instance, if you go to a funeral in Matungu on Saturday, ordinarily there will be a slot allocated to the administration. They call it Serekali. And there will be a headman. It's called Mukasa or Likuru, who will come and speak. If there is elevation beyond those two, there will be assistant chief or chief, and they will come and they will say, Serekali imesema hivi, mipango ya elimu itaenda namna hii, mipango ya SHA itakuwa hivi, affordable housing itakuwa hivi, usalama tumeweka hivi, watu watajisajili kura pale, na lazima mheshimu serikali. That's the narrative. And the ordinary folk will always heshimu serikali. They will toe the line. If the chief comes to a village and says, mnajua hawa watu wa upinzani hawana maono bora kuhusu maendeleo ya serikali, nyinyi yapaswa muone maendeleo ambayo serikali imeleta, wamempatia viongozi, wamemchagulia hawa, wamemteulia hawa. It's propaganda, and it's quite effective. But Kenyans should not prevail in a state of helplessness in the advent of these overtures by the Kenya Kwanza administration. Even within Africa, there have been incumbents who have been removed from office. So it just requires determined effort to mobilize, to sell the agenda, to be vigilant, to ensure that these intrigues do not succeed. You follow? And as I've told you, at a by-election level, it's easy to deploy this machination. At a general election level, you can subdue these schemes. So, yes, there is cause for alarm. We need to fear, but fear propels you to do two things: either to take flight or fight. For those who want the right thing, then you have to fight.
Okay. These 15,000 chiefs and their assistant chiefs have also been promised vehicles. They've been promised tablets, even if you want to go give or take a tablet at the lower end of 5,000 shillings per tablet. So I'm going towards a budget responsibility here. Now, I need you to explain to us, when we hear that a budget, as it is every time the fiscal year is coming to an end, is going to be announced, we know that the budgeting process starts in September, and by the time you come to June is when the new budget is then announced and where it's going to be gotten from. One would assume that anything that would be done in that fiscal year that then requires funding will be put or announced in that budget. Now, for something as big as this, one would imagine that would be in the budget. And if he talks about July 1st, 2026, that should have been in the budget that we are currently in. But I have looked for it and I can't seem to find it. Where do these monies come from? Where will they come from?
Okay. You know, as just talk about that, so we have 106,000 village elders that he's talking about, where each and every single individual will be getting 3,000 shillings. 3,000 shillings per month is 318 million shillings. If you do an annual of that, is 3.8 billion. Do we have that kind of money?
You haven't even added the vehicles.
No, just the elders.
Just the elders.
We've not talked about the vehicles. We've not talked about the tablets. We've not talked about enhanced resource, enhanced mobilization. Apart from the movement with vehicles, we've not talked about that. We've not talked about the deployment for this misinformation and disinformation. Repelling. We've not talked about all of that. So, where does the money come from if having not been budgeted for?
The money is being pilfered. The same monies that were being used for empowerment projects, because there's no budgetary allocation for it. But fundamentally, and this is a failing on the part of the National Assembly, they're supposed to oversight this expenditure. And the moment that a statement of this kind is issued, then an able-bodied male and female representative of the people ought to raise it in Parliament and have it interrogated. But we know, we have, sorry to say,